All right, let's talk about it. In tarot, there's some cards that, well, they just have a reputation, right? They pop up in a reading, and you kind of get that sinking feeling in your stomach. Today, we are going to tackle one of the big ones, maybe the most feared card in the whole deck, and figure out what it's actually trying to say. Yikes. I mean, when you see words like that, terror, despair, nightmares, it's no wonder this card freaks people out. It sounds like a straight-up prediction of doom, doesn't it? But stick with me here, because I promise, by the time we're done, you're going to see this card in a whole new way. So first things first, let's just stare this card down and get right to the heart of it. Why is this thing known as the Nightmare card? What's the deal with the Nine of Swords that gets everyone so worked up? Okay, so here's the number one thing you've got to understand. When the Nine of Swords shows up upright, it's not predicting some horrible thing is going to happen to you. Nope, it's a mirror. It's just reflecting what's already happening inside your own head. Think of it as the card for intense mental struggle, for that deep anguish, for when your thoughts just turn against you. And you see how all these feelings just feed each other? It's a vicious cycle. The card is basically screaming that your anxiety and fear are just running wild. You know that feeling? Maybe you're caught up in guilt about something you did, or you're just so stressed you feel like you're about to snap. And the worst part? You feel completely alone in it all. It is literally that 3 a.m. feeling when you're wide awake and every single worry feels like a monster. Okay, so that's the vibe. The feeling is awful, we get it. But what's the real message here? Is the card just popping up to say, hey, you're miserable? Of course not. It's a signpost telling you to dig a little deeper, to find the source of all that pain. And here we go. This is it. This is the absolute key to understanding the upright Nine of Swords. The card is basically a giant warning sign that your own anxiety is messing with you. It's gotten so intense that it's actually twisting how you see things. Now, don't get me wrong, your problems are probably real, but your fear, it's like a funhouse mirror or a giant magnifying glass, making everything seem 1,000 times worse, totally impossible to overcome. And this phrase just nails it, doesn't it? Making mountains out of molehills. That's the card's whole message in a nutshell. It's a cosmic wake-up call saying, hey, check in with yourself. Is the story you're telling yourself in your head really what's happening on the outside? All right, let's flip this card over. Now, when we talk about the reversed meaning, it gets interesting, because it's not just the simple opposite. Think of it more like a fork in the road, a really critical moment where things could go in two very different directions. So what the reversed card tells us is that you've hit a breaking point. For better or for worse, this is it. The pressure cooker is about to blow. All that tension, all that anxiety, it's reached its absolute peak, and something has got to give. Change is coming, and it's gonna be dramatic. And here are those two paths, laid out plain as day. Path number one, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. This is you finally deciding to recover, to let go of the stress, to actually accept help. It's you choosing to face life again. But then there's path number two, and that's sinking deeper. That's a total collapse, giving up, letting the fear win, maybe even getting tangled in some nasty gossip. The wild part, the outcome is all about the choice you make right now at this turning point. So that's the big picture, the theory. But what does this look like in real life? In the messy stuff of our day-to-day. Let's break down how this Nine of Swords energy might actually show up in your love life, at work, or with your health. Okay, so take love, for instance. Upright, this card can scream guilt, maybe from cheating or just being totally stuck on a past relationship. But if it's reversed, whoa, that could be secrets finally coming to light, which might lead to some much-needed healing or a total scandal. And at work, upright is that classic burnout feeling, just drowning in stress. Reversed, you either figure out how to let it go or you have a full-on meltdown. Same with health. Upright is often tied to things like anxiety, insomnia, even hormonal stuff. And that reversed path, it's you either finally getting a handle on it or things getting much, much worse. You see the pattern here? The situation might change, love, work, whatever, but the core energy of this card really boils down to just one central idea. So no matter how it appears, upright or reversed, in a career reading or love reading, there is one thing, one absolutely crucial takeaway that you have to hold on to. And that brings us to the most important point of all. We have to change how we look at this card. It's not a curse. It's not a life sentence. Think of it as a tool, a really powerful tool for getting a handle on your own mind and, more importantly, for making a real change. This right here is the whole point. The Nine of Swords doesn't show up to predict doom. It shows up to say, hey, I know you feel like everything's falling apart, and that feeling is a signal. It's a signal that it's time to do something. It is, pure and simple, a call to action, an urgent one. So what does that action actually look like? Well, first, you got to talk to someone. That sense of isolation is a killer with this card, so reaching out is step one, non-negotiable. Second, get grounded. Seriously, even just some simple breathing exercises can pull you back from that ledge when your thoughts are spiraling. Third, get practical. This card can sometimes point to actual physical stuff like hormonal imbalances, so maybe it's time for a doctor's visit. And last but not least, you have to challenge those thoughts. Just ask yourself, is this story I'm telling myself actually true? You know, so much of the pain from this card comes from being chained to the past, all that guilt and regret. And this quote, it's just the perfect medicine for that. You can't change the past. You can only learn from it and move forward. It's such a powerful reminder that your power isn't back there, trying to fix what's broken. It's right here, right now, in the choice you make about your next step. And so that's really the question this card leaves us with. The next time you feel that heavy, anxious Nine of Swords energy starting to creep in, I want you to stop and ask yourself this. What mountain in my life right now is actually just a molehill? Take a good, hard look at the fears that are keeping you awake at night and really question them. Because figuring that out, that's your first step. That's how you walk out of the darkness and back into the light.